a state where football is king, more than 1,200 teams have a shared destination on their minds. Arlington, Texas. Here, champions will be crowned.
Greg Powers here at AT&T Stadium with Greg Tepper, where Game 1 of the 2025 UIL Texas State Championships is in the book, and Gordon has went back to back to back, knocking off Rankin 69-22.
Yeah, to win a third consecutive 1A Division I state championship for the Longhorns, the dynasty is fulfilled. We knew back in 2023 when they when they won that first state championship, we thought that could be the time for a multi-year run, and sure enough, Mike Reed has fulfilled that, 3 consecutive state championships. And now the question for this Gordon team, I think, is going to be left to historians. I won't pretend to be the number one historian in six-man football history, but there are a lot of folks out there who follow this who are going to really be qualifying and figuring out where this team's place is in six-man football history. This was one of the most dominant offenses we have ever seen. They scored 69 points on 16 plays. Okay,
crazy.
This offense was absolutely fantastic. The defense was excellent as well. A masterful performance from the Gordon Longhorns to go three in a row.
One of those stats that jumped out to me was time of possession. Rankin was successful moving the football, moving the rock. Under 4 minutes, time of possession, 69 points. This offense, Stryker Reed committed to Air Force, Rye Reed committed to Army. Those guys can get it humming.
They had 5 one-play touchdown drives. Like, think about that.
That's crazy.
5 one-play touchdown drives. They were spectacular. You mentioned Stryker Reed. The offensive MVP, number 3 for them, was absolutely fantastic in this ball game. Explosive. They get him the ball out, and a lot of these were kind of what they would call RPOs in the six-man world as far as that's concerned, in the sense that they're pitching it back to him immediately and then letting him make a choice. If there's a guy downfield, he can throw it. And by the way, he can sling it a little bit. Threw for something like 55 yards in this ball game, but he did most of his his damage on the ground, including the state championship clinching touchdown run, his 4th touchdown run of the game. He was masterful. You mentioned Rye Reed. What a warrior he is on both sides of the ball. I thought he had a claim to be either offensive or defensive MVP. I thought Rye Reed was spectacular in this ballgame. Braden Walters as well, the defensive MVP. He's maybe the forgotten man on this team, but he is electrifying. 11 tackles and an interception to earn defensive MVP performance. He was absolutely fantastic. And they started off early. I mean, this Gordon team, first play of the game, first offensive play, they got to stop and immediately one play. And I think you knew at that point where this thing was going.
Walters definitely jumped out to me. Tone-setting stop on the very first play on the defensive side of the football. That Gordon defense, they controlled most of the game, but Rankin, to their due credit, they moved the rock. They were able to get first downs, and they put some points on the board, taking this game into the second half.
Yeah, I would say that you see Stryker Reed kind of take off here for another large game, in for, I believe, a touchdown in this one. He steps out there. This is a guy, this defense, I think, for Rankin, they did their best, but this is just too high-powered. But I think their offense got things going. Matthew Ramos, their running back, I thought had a really nice game, and they forced a third quarter. This is only the 3rd time against a six-man team all year long that Gordon has had to play in the third quarter. I think you give a ton of credit to Rankin. They had stomach for the fight. I think there's a lot of teams, especially in the six-man ranks, who they go up against Gordon and they're down 22-0 winning. You know what I mean? Rankin came in here unafraid. They played, they punched back, and I thought they were really impressive offensively to get things going against what has been an electrifying Gordon defense. But in the end, just too much from the Longhorns. So that's just the name of the game. Again, I think one of the questions is going to be where they rank in Texas high school football history. This is a one-of-one team. I know Lehman Saunders, who's one of the six-man historians, has gone out there and said this is the best offensive six-man football team of all time. I think there's an argument to that. By the way, a shout-out to our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission for helping to make this happen. arlingtonsportscommission.org/UIL for everything you need to make your trip to Arlington for the state championship games. I tell you what, why don't we take a break real quick? When we come back after the break, we're going to get you ready for the 1A Division II state championship game. Jayton and Richland Springs on deck if you stay with us.
Greg Powers here back at AT&T Stadium with Greg Tepper. We just got done with the first six-man game, but that's not it on the action for today at 1A. Jayton versus Richland Springs on deck. Give us some keys to this game. Who do we need to keep an eye on, and who's trending in your mind?
So I think in the 1A Division I state championship game, Gordon as a pretty considerable favorite. I think in this ball game, it is a lot closer to a pick'em. And Jayton's the defending state champs in 1A Division II and have looked fantastic. Wire to wire number one in our rankings, and a lot of the key pieces from last year's teams are back. Sean Stanlin, their quarterback and linebacker, Colt Gentry, who's the defensive MVP a year ago, Bodie Ham, their star runner, they are all back in the fold. This Jayton team looks fantastic. Well, here comes Richland Springs. A team that's no stranger to the big stage, 9 state championships, the most decorated program in six-man football history, and their defense has really stepped up in a big way, and I think that you look at the versatility of the weaponry they've got. Guys like Cohen Etheridge, and the Etheridge name really resonates in Richland Springs. Ethan Deeds, right? Billy Perry. They have got dudes all over the place on this Richland Springs ball club. I'm interested to see which defense steps up, because both these defenses have been excellent all year long. They are number 2 and number 3 in scoring defense in six-man football across the season, okay? The number 1 team, by the way, is Gordon. So this is a fantastic matchup. The other thing is that for six-man football folks, this game means something. And what I mean by that is these are two of the flagship programs in six-man football, right? Richland Springs, the most decorated program in six-man football history. Jayton has 3 state championships of their own, including the reigning state champion right now. I think that this is also the first time they've ever met between Jayton and Richland Springs, which makes this a real fun matchup. Another thing to watch is a depth thing, okay? This is the smallest classification, 1A Division II. Jayton is actually going up in the next alignment in February. They'll be a Division I team next year. Does that depth play an advantage in what should be a real nip and tuck affair between Richland Springs and Jayton?
You actually touched on what I was going to bring up in my very next question to you. Is in the latest enrollment, UIL enrollment, Richland Springs only 31 students, but football means something to that community, and they've built their team and they've built their city around this Richland Springs football team. Can they pull the upset? What do they need to do to pull it off?
Yeah, I think they can. And I think it starts on the defensive side, which it usually does in six-man football. Usually the better defense wins the ball game because everyone can score, right? I think it comes down to defense. Can they get Richland Springs off, or can they get Jayton off the field? The other thing that I'm keeping an eye on in this one is going to be how long Jayton is able to control the clock. Do they go on one play drives? Because for Richland Springs, because of that depth advantage I think Jayton's going to have in this game, I think Richland Springs kind of wants to go fast. They want all of their running to mean something. You know what I mean? And so I think that for Jayton, they probably feel like they can wear down Richland Springs. What happens there? I think Richland Springs has got to get this game into the third quarter, but I think they got to play from ahead. I think the first quarter is critical in this one. Whoever wins the first quarter, I think, is going to be in a great position.
There he is, Greg Tepper, knower of ball. Keep it locked right here on TexasFootball.com for all of the latest breaking news at the UIL State Championships at AT&T Stadium.